Milwaukee Climate Strike is demanding that We Energies divest from fossil fuels and transition to 100% renewables by 2030. Sanchez was released after being held in question for an hour. Officers told him that it was the woman working at the gift shop who made the 911 call and reported that he was carrying a rifle. Mothers Against Gun Violence are demanding people put their guns down. They're actually marching to the site of a homicide that occurred just hours ago. We Energies and Appleton City crews will be clearing tree damage for days. The city's main thoroughfares are open, but it's side streets like this one where the crews will have to first untangle the trees from the power lines before pushing them off the streets. Yes, you could say Green Bay is experiencing a British invasion, but it's 55,000 out-of-town, mostly American fans converging upon Lambeau Field for the show. Say you're shopping in the mall with your children and one of them disappears. With a few clicks on the FBI's Child ID app, you can send that vital information to law enforcement.
Ready? That's a good one.
A Lafayette veteran is being recognized as a hero by the family of a pilot who he saved in Laos in the 1970s. During that time, he worked for Air America. And as Justice Henderson reports, he says he was simply doing his job. Here at the Green Bay Botanical Gardens, they do not spray for mosquitoes because they don't want any insecticides getting on their plants, which could not only potentially harm animals, but they're definitely not willing to take the chance to harm humans who interact with these plants as well. Chris, St. Martin Parish President Chester Cedars told me today that the city of Youngsville has been nothing but transparent and cordial with him in discussing the concept. But Cedars says that as of right now, Youngsville does not have a valid reason to move forward with the annexation. These wooden pylons are what supports the beam and therefore the road surface of the west end of the Judson Walsh Bridge. However, as you can see, they're rotted on the inside, making this end of the bridge unsafe for traffic. Good evening. Thanks for choosing Acadiana's News Channel at 10. I'm Josh Meny. 5 people from Acadiana walk away from a crashed plane with just scratches and bruises. The pilot landing in a wooded area in Alabama. This ship, the fastest and most automated in the U.S. Navy, will slide out of those cradles and launch into the Menominee River. As you're heading home from all these Labor Day weekend events, be prepared for peak traffic on highways and major roads. In this section of Forest in Oconto County, right outside of the unincorporated township of Mountain, trees are down for as far as I can see, 360 degrees around me, and this is what people in north central Wisconsin say their properties look like. The more than 500 volunteers on this project add $3 to every dollar spent, so the $1.2 million invested will total more than $3.5 million in labor by the end. Not only were 2 men shot on the front porch on the house across from me, a bullet actually went through this window and struck a man inside. Here in downtown Appleton, you can see all of these rooftops with nothing on them. The importance of McFleshman's Brewing Company putting an apiary on top of their rooftop is that it opens up the dialogue with other business owners that all of these unused rooftops can be transformed into green spaces to promote biodiversity. We're at Holman Aviation, which shares the runway with Great Falls International Airport, checking out Boeing's MH-139, which could be the newest addition to the Air Force's helicopter fleet. Lights for Liberty organizer Lisa Lucas is a new mom of a 15-month-old daughter.
Cannot imagine somebody trying to take my child away from me because I'm trying to give her a better life. I cannot imagine my child sitting in a cage with a dirty diaper crying because nobody's allowed to hug her. I cannot imagine my child sitting in a cage dirty because nobody's allowed to bathe her.
She says the information she gets on the border camps breaks her heart.
I think a lot of people, a lot of parents especially, feel the way I feel. So you're going to see them out here tonight because they don't want to sit on the sidelines anymore.
At the Lights for Liberty demonstration in Vigil, they're making a list of demands. The first one, of course, close the camps, as you can see on these halogen signs. Others being abolish ICE and just the overall decriminalization of immigrants.
Are you guys going to be quiet and be complicit? I can't hear you! I can't hear you!
Speaker Primitivo Torres has experienced the detention camps firsthand as a legal advisor to immigrants seeking asylum.
When the zero tolerance first started, we were inside those camps that we are protesting right now. And let me tell you, it was devastation.
Torres says when families are separated, it takes a major toll on the children.
We saw it
in the kids, the way they act, the way they learn. And this is something that is really psychological scar for the rest of their lives.
Progressive Baptist Church pastor Walter Lanier led the vigil.
But let us lift up lights in solidarity and support and memory for those who are struggling and being persecuted right now.
The reiterating message from all the speakers: treat others as you would treat your family and community.
Immigrants aren't criminals. Right? They're coming here for a better life. Crossing the border is a misdemeanor. Jaywalking is a misdemeanor. Nobody's going to put you in a cage for jaywalking, right? But we're treating people like they're less than human, and so that's what we're asking for an end to.
Lights for Liberty has resources and training online for those wanting to contact their congressman to enact legislative change. In Milwaukee, Josh Meny, Spectrum News. Senator Booker's main message: Democrats can't fight fire with fire. They need to embrace inspiration.
It is not a referendum on one guy in one office. This election is going to be a referendum on us, on who we are and who we must be to each other.
Throughout Senator Booker's speech, he kept going back to the story of his parents' struggle trying to get a home in New Jersey. He says it's through the acts of a volunteer white lawyer who was inspired by the civil rights movement that they were able to move into that community.
A man on a couch in New Jersey who then got up and went to work and changed the destiny of a generation not yet born. I wouldn't be a senator. I wouldn't be a presidential candidate if it wasn't for who we are.
What Booker is saying is that small and large acts of kindness to help others will transform America.
It's not about what we're against, it's about what we're for and who we're for. And I believe in us. I'm betting on us.
David Randberg has known Booker since he was 18. He was Booker's RA in their college dorm at Stanford.
I mean, there was actually a moment where we had a very emotional and passionate dorm meeting once about a very charged topic. And after the meeting and Corey spoke, I said to one of the other RAs, you know, Corey's going to be president someday.
But one person in the audience says Booker's speech was more talk and grand gestures than actual substantive policy proposals.
I am glad that he did bring up climate issues. I do, however, think there's always room for improvement. His talking was very broad, and it did not have a lot of attention in most of his speeches.
Booker is counting on his impassioned Justice for All message to not only elevate his poll numbers, but more importantly, change America for the better.
We've always hailed this ideal as a nation that we need each other. In fact, at the very end of our Declaration of Independence says we must mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Sacred honor says that if your children are facing injustice, it's a shadow over my children's well-being, that we all are in this together and we share a common destiny. That's what I'm calling it.
In Milwaukee, Josh Meny, Spectrum News.
We start out with our Josh Meny in Karen Crow, where some residents say what they heard today is something they never want to hear again. Josh.
Marcel, the residents I spoke to say the wind started picking up, and before they could even react, the twister dropped down and large objects began flying through the air.
Weather usually doesn't scare me, but I was painting and I had the blinds open, and I just saw the wind pick up through the window, and all of a sudden it was like just a howling, different than anything I've ever heard before.
Garrett LaSalle's home surveillance cam caught some of the extreme wind force. Lynn Ray Leger's property was next in line as the twister barreled through the neighborhood. Multiple residents say a twister ripped through this Karen Crow neighborhood, taking off the entire roof of this brick and mortar pump house, lodging pieces of it deep into the ground. Just yards away, Leger's barbecue gazebo was also totaled.
I feel blessed because this is nothing. I mean, I still have a roof over my head, and where otherwise I wouldn't. And all this is minor damage.
Ernie Fontenot's property was next.
Coming from the southwest, it came across heading this way. Limbs are broken, and then coming this way, it tore off some big limbs off my oak tree and just kept on moving out that way, and no one got hurt. Everybody's safe, so, you know, thank God that's all that happened.
Every resident we spoke to remarked the same thing, which is how fortunate and astounding it was that the twister didn't directly hit any of their homes. Reporting live in Karen Crow, Josh Meny, KTC TV3.